Guys, we need to talk. Within the 360 virtual tour industry, there are a few companies that are offering software to create virtual tours with, to navigate from one place to another, to add some hotspots. And the biggest player in this market is Matterport. But most of you guys watching and following my stuff know that the moment you upload something to Matterport, it is not only your content anymore, they also have a license to resell it or do whatever they want to do with your content. That's kind of like a practice. Then there's a lot of other virtual tour software companies that have a subscription-based model. The thing is, the subscription, the money to pay monthly is not necessarily the biggest pain. The biggest pain with subscription-based software is that it's closed source, and with that, there comes quite some risk building your company based on top of that. What happens if the company is being bought by another company who just wants to make the software die, like GoPro did? What if the company decides to increase their prices? What if the company decides to change their privacy policy to learn from your content so that competitors can just ask an AI to make the exact same thing that you've been putting in your own creative expressions into, like Adobe did? I got some videos on that. Point is, closed source subscription-based software is very hard to trust and to build a business on top of. Then within the field, we have software that is that's something that you can download and that is running locally in your computer. Thing is, with that software, usually it is just very much outdated. It doesn't live up to the modern standards that web development, software development has to offer. It's things like designing things. There are no design tokens that you can massively change things and a color of a button and have all these things like in place. There's no things like a CMS that is either static or dynamic so that you can connect it with other software. So there's a lot of things lacking with that too. So I've been thinking, what if I built my own 360 virtual tour editor, my own software, so that I can make the source available for everyone to see that and host the whole software thing on their own server? What if, besides self-hosting the whole application, you can also just log in and do a subscription there, yet always have the ability to export your project files and the final results and being able to import that back again so that it doesn't need to stay within the software all the time. When you're done with a project, you can archive all these things locally in your own computer. But if you need to, you can always re-import it back again in the software. What if you could just connect your own S3 bucket from AWS and have all the project files and exported files within your own bucket so that the software itself doesn't even have the ability to spy on you? Those have been questions that I've been thinking of, and I thought, well, if I need to develop this, I'm not a developer myself. I need to hire other developers. I might probably need a whole team of developers that I'll need to pay a certain salary, and I'll be probably needing €500,000, and just to get the concept up and running and to get things going. Well, I thought, okay, to get $500,000, I need to get investors. When I get investors on board, they're going to have their say and their values, and they need to make back their money. So they're going to influence how things are going to be priced and all that stuff. And for some reason, a lot of times investors have quite a bad influence on just a nice user experience that lasts long. And so a lot of software can start really nice in the beginning, but then later on it just gets bad because there's more and more money involved and there's all these investments and all this stuff. And so it loses its initial goal. So 1 month ago, I started vibe coding. I started to just use AI to create all this code for me and just describe what I want. And I got very much into this. I've been prompting a lot, and I figured out how to create my own 360 viewer based on open source protocols and just make it do the things that I wanted to do. I think it's pretty awesome because now I can just do all that stuff myself without the need for a whole development team. And I can do it as I imagine myself. So I'm pretty excited about that. And well, here it is. This is called the 360 Crafter. So we're logging in. And the first thing you see is in your dashboard, you have workspaces. So what that means is within the workspace, you work for a client. And for a client, you can have multiple projects. But the moment you have a new client, you create a new workspace so that you can work on these projects and share that whole workspace with the client if you want to, or share that with other people that are working for the client on that specific thing. So right away from scratch, you just have like a nice clean way to just collaborate with your team, with other people, without the need to just export all the project files, import that again, have missing files, all that stuff. That doesn't need to happen because everything is stored on the server, whether that is going to be your own S3 bucket or the 360 Crafter server. So let me show you. New workspace, you can say, I want this in the 360 Crafter cloud, pay a subscription for it, or I want to connect my own custom S3 bucket with it. And the moment you click on S3 bucket, you'll see a little form to fill out, the keys and all that stuff, S3 provider, and that's basically the idea. And the moment you create this, all the project data is going to be stored in there. Now, let's take a quick look at one of the projects. Local airport. As you can see, I got a panorama over here. I got already a few hotspots. I can turn on hotspot minimization like so. And now hotspots turn small. I can turn it off again. I can add a new hotspot. Call this enter airplane. I can change the background color to something else. And there's no need for me to re-upload an image, right? The SVG, I just select an SVG. I can copy paste the SVG from the internet, put that in here, and it will just be there. And the nice thing about SVGs is we can change the color of the icon. So we don't need to just re-upload an image anymore. No, we just change that from the editor itself. So that is pretty nice. Then there are actions, so we can link the panorama, we can add a notification, download file, edit visibility, both skin as well as hotspot. That all works. We can go to the skin, we can add a container, add a text, drag the text into the container. There still needs to be quite some work to be done over here to make this really work and that I can move all these things by mouse and all this stuff. But that's why I'm gonna get to very quickly to something why I will need you guys. I got actions over here as well in the skin. So a lot of stuff is already in place and I got some project settings where, just general stuff. So this is just like my proof of concept of the 360 Crafter. Now, as you can imagine, there's still quite a lot of work to be done. Like I need to make sure that the export buttons, everything's going to work so that you can export both your project data as well as your publish 360 tour. And that the preview works and all that stuff. I still need to, make all these things work as so. But you can also see I already got a lot of things working out, like placing hotspots and all that stuff. This is what I came up with. Instead of getting investors on board and a whole team of developers, I'm going to need 12,000 euros to commit myself for 3 months to fully commit to the 360 Crafter and making this like a fine-tuned final product that can go live. And yeah, that's the plan. So I'm describing a lot on this whole Kickstarter page, but let's just get to the rewards. So that is basically, if you think like, hey, love it, Ronald, I support you. Well, this is how you can support me financially and also benefit yourself. So you can take a subscription for 6 months. So it's only 6 months and then it will end. For 60 euros. So that's half the price. There's 100 of them available. Once they're out, you can still get some for 25% off. And then we have the one, this is bring your own S3 storage. So when you already have your S3 storage set up with AWS or whatever, then you need to fill out that form as you just noticed earlier on. And with that, you're going to pay like a one-time fee. Instead of 360 euros, it's going to be 180 euros. And you just get like a lifetime deal with this. So updates, software updates, all that stuff is all included in this thing. And yeah, after 50, there are 75 with 25% off. So this is basically like what I've set up. You can read all about it on my Kickstarter page. I hope you guys are as excited as I am about this whole thing. The whole project, it's all or nothing. So if I reach 12,000 euros goals, great, I can fully commit myself to this project. If not, it's still gonna happen. It's still gonna be there. It's just gonna take some more time for me to work on all that stuff and find some other projects to keep finances going. So, yeah, hope you guys are just excited. Check out the Kickstarter and have a great day.